Sarah, and Vinny on Alice at 97.3.
All right, beautiful people. Alice Radio, here is your review of The Revenant. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, Domhnall Gleeson. He's the bad guy alongside Adam Driver in the Star Wars movies. So this guy's like a big deal, so I had to mention him. And my dear friend, Jill Brooks, who's the visual effects executive producer. Shame. So in this film...
drop. Sorry.
In this film, Leo DiCaprio is left to die by his friends after a bear attacks him and leaves him an inch from his life. Some other horrible things happen, but I don't want to give away the whole plot. So let's talk about the bear attack.
Oh, gosh. Everybody wants to talk about the bear attack.
How graphically, violently, perfectly done was this moment?
Listen, I've seen so many action sequences.
Here we go.
This is easily one of the 5 best action sequences I've ever seen in the history of cinema.
All time, everyone.
It's bananas.
And, like, I'm just going to prepare you a little bit. The bear takes chunks out of his back.
Oh, you should have said that.
It's so intense.
Yeah.
I had to look through my fingers last night as I was watching this.
Yeah, man.
But it's so good.
Yeah, Leo is phenomenal. And all of this film, he's spectacular.
This film is directed by Alejandro Inarritu.
Birdman guy.
Yeah, and Babel. So, one question. Is this, I'm 1,000% sure of this, but will this film win Best Cinematography at the Academy Awards?
It'll be nominated. I don't know if it'll win.
It's going to win, everybody.
It's usually when I mention cinematography in a movie, the movie's pretty bad. Like, that's the only good thing about it. But this one is so stunningly shot, so beautiful.
Incredible.
You really can't take your eye. That's part of the film. It actually helps you kind of get in that 1800s pioneer. Hell, I wish it had been on IMAX.
I know. Hey, Marcus, Leo.
Yeah.
This role was so demanding. Did he pull it? Will he get a nomination? And will he win?
I think this is the year Leo finally gets a nomination.
I agree. This is his year, man.
I shouldn't say it, not the nomination. I think he finally wins.
He's going to win.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure this is his best performance. Like, physically, from a physical standpoint, it's probably the most demanding performance he's had physically, except in Django when he cut his hand open and he kept doing the scene. He's a beast in that one.
That's a great scene.
Oh, that's so good.
So the subject matter is really intense outside of DiCaprio. The other kind of subplot of this film is how horrible the settlers were to the Native Americans back in the day. And this movie pulls no punches, and you're gonna feel sick watching how horrible, like, everything was for the Native Americans. And I've never seen it, like, portrayed like this, but, like, I walked away and I was like, oh, that's, like, it's the very worst of humanity. The very worst. And on top of that, DiCaprio, is practically eaten by a bear. It's all bad. It's all bad.
By the way, you got to mention Tom Hardy, who is a genius.
Yeah, he's going to get a nomination,
everything he does, he's great in this movie as the antagonist. I love Tom Hardy, everything he does.
Sum it all up, let me just say this. If I would have seen this movie last year, it would have been my number 1 or number 2 on my list of the top 10 films of the year.
Yeah.
It's so bloody. It's so violent. It's so cold. When we saw Everest, I was cold watching that. I was even colder watching this because it's so miserable. But the movie is so great. It's so brilliant. I have to give it a perfect score. 5 Persian carpets.
I remember Everest, and I don't remember being chilly at all. That's just me. You know what? It's funny. By the way, Leo DiCaprio goes through so much crap in this movie. It's like watching Passion of the Christ all over again. The dude goes through so much stuff. But as I was sitting there watching this film, I was thinking about Hooman, because I know, Hooman, you're a fairly religious guy. What did you think, about Leo? Were you rooting for Leo?
Yeah, there's a moment in this movie where his body is rotting, but his vengeance is so great that it keeps him alive. Like, he wants revenge so bad that even though his body is rotting, his vengeance is keeping him alive.
And the ending, this is Hooman's typical question to me, were you happy with that ending?
It is so bloody and so violent, but yes, it was very satisfying.
It's
Very
weird. I
satisfying.
don't know if I was as satisfied as you, but I did like the movie itself is fantastic. I actually think it's better than Hateful Eight.
Sounds horrible.
What are you gonna give it? What are you giving it?
I'm gonna give it 4.5 Aussies.
All right.
Yeah. This year, 2016. Guess what? Best movie, y'all.
Oh.
It's the only one that's come out, but whatever.
Yeah.